All right, guys. So I hope that you find this video helpful. I'm just going to kind of walk you through some of the tools that I've been using. I'm recording this video using Zoom. It is the product that I have been using to video conference with my students. I can't take credit for finding it. Girls in the English department found it long before I did and introduced me to it, but I like it. A couple of things about Zoom itself is like I said, you can use it to record videos. You can also use it to video conference with your student. I'm going to be keeping my office hours on this interface, mostly because if you click the invite button down at the bottom, you can copy a link, and then you can send that link to your students through Google Classroom, and all they have to do is just click on it, and then they're in the video conference with you. So they don't have to remember any of their logins or passwords or anything like that. All they have to do is click the link. Also, something that I figured out pretty early on is during that time where you're required to kind of have your webcam on and available, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a mute button for the microphone, and there's also a stop video button. And when you stop the video button, what you see is just the person's name. And if you mute it, then there's no volume either. But if you have the volume turned up loud enough on your computer, you will hear when kids enter the video conference, and then you can turn your sound and stuff on. That way you don't have to always kind of be, you can turn music on or whatever and just pause it before you stop in with the kids to answer questions, to do those kind of things. Anyway, on to best practices. I'm just going to show you some of the tools that I've been using here, and I hope that you find them helpful. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here is share my screen with you. This is kind of my work center, and this is where I keep all of my tabs and stuff open for the things that I'm working on. Okay, so first thing, this is what my Google Classroom looks like. I went through and I cleaned out all the stuff from kind of before this happened. I wanted to have a clear dividing line between kind of before, when school was just normal, and now that school is something entirely unlike anything we've ever seen or done before. So starting down here, this was my COVID-19 survey, and this was just asking kids what their internet capabilities are. Now that we've kind of got a better idea of that, I don't know if that everybody needs to do that. And then I try to post an update here every day. Here's my first YouTube video, and this just is kind of like instructions and kind of what I know about school based on their questions that they asked me in that survey. And then it just kind of goes on like this. Now, as far as what I'm planning to do for coursework wise, I have found an ebook of Looking for Alaska, which is a novel by John Green, and I've sent that to the kids so that they have reading material. I've also found a copy of the audiobook, and the kids will have access to that too. Now, what the assignments are going to look like is they're going to be Google Forms here. As soon as I figure out where I actually assigned that, somehow that ended up under IXL. So I'm just going to real quick click on this and kind of show you what my assignments look like. So these are just short answer, and you can make these in Google Forms. If they're short answer, you have to review them manually, but if you make them multiple choice, they're self-grading. So what I found so far in working from home is that I'm spending a lot less time grading, and I'm spending a lot more time kind of like building resources and making myself familiar with the material. So be sure and use, if you have a question that you can ask the students where it's like up or down, yes or no, multiple choice, use Google Forms, because it grades itself, and you just click the numbers and put them into live grades. So let's see here. I'm gonna get some of the stuff out of the way. Okay, so this is where I'm keeping all of my materials. This is in a Google Drive. Again, Google Forms, self-grading. It's really slick if you can use it. Just a word on my email inbox here. I've managed to figure out a way to change my settings, um, so if you click on settings and go to configure inbox, you can set labels for different things. And so like I changed my promotions, my updates and stuff so that my inbox wasn't so cluttered. And then I could actually turn my inbox into a to-do list, which is what it's useful for anyway. Another tool that I found that I really like is Google Voice. So if you guys can see this, Google Voice, basically what I did was I went online and I set up a virtual phone number. So this is my virtual phone number. When I make calls to students or families, I don't use my personal phone number because that's a recipe for difficulties and problems. So what I did was I went online and I got a virtual phone number. And now I use this virtual phone number to call and text with parents. And also, and to a lesser extent with students, I posted the number online to just so students could make contact with me if for some reason their internet goes down. But the other thing that I like about, so one, it's not my personal phone number, and two, this keeps a record of all of my student contact. Okay, and this record is exportable and emailable. So nobody, we're all looking to kind of protect ourselves as the way that we contact our students gets more personal. And so this is a thing that I found that I think would be helpful for that. So guys, give that a shot if you want to. And then the final thing that I've been finding out is that instead of sitting down and writing really long lists of directions for Google Classroom that the kids aren't going to read anyway, I started making YouTube videos like the ones that you guys are watching here. So you're going to get this video and then a second video that I made for my English class. And basically what I did was I read parts of the book, I pulled up visual aids, I did all the things that we would normally do as teachers, and then I condensed that into a video and I uploaded it here, and then I sent it out to my students through Classroom. And it's just another way that you can kind of get them engaged. So, we're looking at the view counters over here, so we're looking at about half of my students so far have watched the video. So it's not a great measure. It's also important to note that most of them could not access YouTube really until I think late yesterday. So I was updating them. If you have students for whatever reason that can't use YouTube, one of the nice things that you can do here is upload them to your Google Classroom, and then you can attach them as files to your assignments. And basically how you do that, let me see here if I can show you guys a way to do that. I'm going to change my topic back to looking for Alaska. But if you go to add over here, you go to Google Drive. I think it might have opened a second window. Anyway, you go to add Google Drive and then you navigate to where the video is in your Google Drive folder, and you can attach it just like any other file or assignment. And yeah. So that's what I'm doing so far to kind of engage my students and kind of try to meet them where they are. I know that it's really difficult to teach a new concept to a student when they can't ask questions and get immediate feedback. And I also know that not all of our students can read well. And I know that not all of our students can internalize direction without feedback and make and be able to have success at an assignment. But I hope that through measures like these where they have access to videos, not all students can read, but can read well, but all students can listen, and all students can look and intake visual information. So I'm hoping that something in here was helpful for you. And as always, just contact me if you have questions about anything that I covered here, or if you want help getting set up. I'd be happy to help. So, all right, guys, be safe. And, if you have any good ideas, I'm really hoping that we can kind of get some of them shared around, because I know that all of us need all the help we can get. So be safe out there.